Hey everyone, it's me again. Um, I just wanted to give a little walkthrough of my Ortur Laser Master 2 that I bought almost a year ago. And I've used this thing pretty consistently for the past year, and it has been zero issues, zero trouble. I love this little printer, this little laser etcher. It does a great job with everything I've tried. The only thing I haven't been able to etch with it has been stainless steel, and that's something I really wanted to do basically before I even bought this one, and I thought this would do a better job. And I've done everything I could think of in order to try to get this particular model. This is the 20 watt, but it's only a 5 watt laser, and everything I've done, I can't get it to etch on stainless. I've used um, marker, I've used the etching spray like Ceramark. Um, I've used mustard. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube of folks that have had some good luck using mustard, and none of that's worked for me. I mean, just nothing has given me the result that I would have liked. And um, a little frustrated, I went out and did some searching on the internet, and I found another brand that is the xTool D1, that basically it combines two 5 watt lasers to focus on a single point to give you 10 watts of power, and it actually works pretty good, and I was pretty impressed with it. But about 3 weeks in, the laser had failed, and it seemed like I was only getting half power. All the settings that I had before, even to etch wood, I would have to double the settings of previous in order to get the same result. So it seemed to me that one of the two lasers that combine to give you the 10 watt failed, and only one of them was focusing on the material, and hence I got half the power output. So I had to double my power settings in Lightburn in order to get the same effect that I was getting before. So I was pretty disappointed with xTool. I sent several emails to their tech support, and I got a pretty crazy, stupid answer back. Um, Check your settings and clean the lens. And on a etcher that I've only had for 3 weeks, there's not going to be much buildup of material on the lens to cause that kind of drop in power. And I can look up the power settings, so their help was about useless. And after that, they ghosted me for several weeks, and I was very upset with them. And I started looking, well, maybe I can just replace the laser head myself, right? If they're not going to help me, maybe I can just go out and find one. And in researching, I found that on Amazon they actually have a maker called Laser Tree that makes a laser head for your build it yourself laser etching machines, but it would also fit the Laser Master. And I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. Um, it was a interesting concept that I could just switch out the laser head for some similar in mechanical design, right? It uses two 5 watt lasers to focus on a single point and end up giving you a 10 watt output. So I thought, hey, I'm there, right? So I order it from Amazon, and it came in. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the new laser head that came from Amazon, and here it's in the box. I'm going to take this laser head. I'm going to take the existing. This is a working laser head, 5 watt, off of the Laser Master, and I'm going to show you how to install the new laser head and plug it in and see what it can do. So here we go. What I'm going to try to do is I got a stainless steel pet tag, and I'm going to put on light burn. I'm going to put it to 100%, 700 millimeters per minute, and I'm going to run it. And if I'm correct, it's going to be like the laser didn't even touch it. So let me go ahead and get that job started. All right, job's finished, and not a mark on the tag. There's nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead and power this guy down, and I'm going to go through the process of taking the existing head off and replacing it with the new laser head. So first thing to do, I'm going to move this material out of the way, is to remove the laser head from the carriage. So the carriage takes the laser head back and forth on the axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the power from here and move that out of the way. And then I'm going to loosen these nuts here that hold the laser mounting assembly or laser adjusting assembly to the carriage. Just going to loosen these nuts and take those right off. Like I said, this Ortur Laser Master 20 watt did a great job as far as soft materials like leather and wood, paper, cardboard, all that stuff worked really well. But for your harder materials like stainless steel, it didn't really work. Alright, so this is the whole laser head assembly taken off of the carriage. There's 2 screws on the back. Sorry, you can leave these 2 screws in. That holds the adjustment slide on there. There's 2 screws on the bottom that need to be removed. If you take these 2 screws off the bottom, they're pretty short. They keep the laser head from sliding off the slide. They're little stops. We're just going to hold these screws off to the side. This whole process takes about 5 minutes, so just don't lose your screws. So now this will slide off. You can loosen this screw here, and this will slide right off. And then from there, you're going to get a Phillips screwdriver and take the plate off of the laser head. These are 2 pretty short Phillips head screws. Alright, and last one. Alright, so I've got those 2 Phillips head screws off, and that's it. So this is actually maximum output of this laser diode is 4.5 volts. So anyway, so this is the old one. Put it off to the side. And here's the box that the new one came in. Open it up. Packed nicely in some nice cushiony foam. And I can pull it right out. Alright. So I'm going to put the box off to the side. Alright, so this is the 10 watt laser. I can see here that it's got two sets of power wires going into the laser head assembly. So that, I can assume that's the two individual lasers that are combined for the 10 watts of power. So, and this also comes with a little shield, and it's got a funnel here. I guess this is their adaptation to use air assist. So the fan that's cooling the heat sink here is also going to be blowing air out of that cone onto the material, so it'll act as kind of an air assist. So to put this one on, it's actually fairly easy. There's your screws here, your screw holes, and you just line them up with the slide plate and just use the same screws that came off the Ortur, sorry. Put those screws in there. Pretty simple. And then now you can slide the slide plate back on, and then put your two stop screws on the bottom. Like I said, these keep your laser from sliding off the mounting assembly. The job you could really get done with one screw, but it comes with two screws, so I'm going to go ahead and put the two screws back in. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and lock this slide so it's not going up and down. Put it back onto the carriage, and then put the nuts back on. This is pretty much as simple as that. The only other thing that's different is the power supply. The power supply for the Ortur laser is not as powerful as what's needed for the 10 watt output. So Laser Tree recommends that you purchase a different power supply. I was able to find one on Amazon for about 10 bucks, so the cost of the power supply is pretty minimal. Alright, so I got all these tightened up. Alright, and then all that's left is to plug. This plug plugs into the side. I do have this cable management system that I printed that bolts on. Make sure that's in there. This cable management system bolts onto these two screws here, so I'm going to go ahead and take those out real quick and bolt down my cable management system. It's a pretty quick changeover. This I printed, so you just push it and it lines up with the existing screws. Put those existing screws back in, tighten them down. So that's it. the change is done. It's ready to go. The only other difference is, like I say, you have to unplug the old power supply from it. This is the AC adapter that came with it, and this is a 3000 milliamp output, 12 volt DC. This is what came with the original, and the one that I bought from Amazon to replace it is a 500 milliamp or 5 amp output, 12 volt, and it has the same standard connector that the Ortur it accepts into the Ortur plug. So I just plug that in. I can turn on and it homes based on my settings in Lightburn. Now the only other caveat that I have to call out was that it originally was hitting the frame. So we have this shroud that goes over the laser that comes out, and that shroud was hitting the frame, and it was not allowing the carriage to home to the home switch, and that was causing some problems. So I don't know if you can see here, but I printed a block basically on my 3D printer that has a tab on it that goes into the screw. You can see it a little bit better here. There's a screw here on the side that goes through the wheel, and basically I just took that screw out and I mounted this tab. It's just a tab with a slot, and it's connected to this block. I bolted that to the carriage so that it extends the carriage enough to hit the home switch. So now when it slides, get this out of the way, when it slides here, that little extension hits the home switch and prevents the laser head from crashing into the frame of the XY axis there. So that made it fit better, and it was a quick little add-on. Only took a couple of minutes to put that on. It only took a few minutes to print too. So now, whenever I home in Lightburn, it's going to hit that switch before it contacts the rail. So that makes it a lot easier. So now that I have the system plugged in with the new power supply, and I have it the same settings that I set to etch on this dog tag, I should be able to run the same settings, 100%, 700 millimeters per minute. I should be able to etch the name on this tag. The only thing that kind of bothers me is that when I'm trying to do the frame, the shroud kind of blocks my view of the light, and it's a little bit harder to see where the tool is aiming. So I kind of have to look down low to make sure that I can see. Alright, now I'm going to try it again with the new laser head, same settings, and see how well it etches this dog tag. Put my glasses on. Alright. Let's see what it looks like. Now you can see it says Rex, and like I said, I didn't really size it correctly. I could have brought it down a few sizes, but just as a test, you can see that it etched into the stainless steel, and I used the settings of 100% on the laser, 700 millimeters per minute, and it did a pretty good job. So I'm pretty excited about this version. As you can see, I have my stainless steel tumbler on the rotary system. I've got a different video where I show some nice legs that I create in order to lift it up high enough to etch on the rotary system. That's a separate video, so look for that. But I thought you guys might be interested in this, and looks like it turned out pretty well. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave some comments, let me know what you think. Thank you all.